the Jewish Community Relations Council, Miami Beach Bar Association, Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, Miami Beach Tuesday Community Breakfast Club, Miami-Dade Bar Association, Mid-Beach Matters, ParkView Island Sustainable Association, and Sunset Harbor Neighborhood Association. So would the leadership that's representing any of those organizations please stand? Please stand and get recognized. We thank you. I also want to acknowledge the President and CEO of the Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce and former Killian Cougar classmate of mine, although you're a lot younger, alum. How's that, alum? Brittany Lassant. Brittany, stand up, say hello. As well as incoming Chamber Chair Alfredo J. Gonzalez. I got the J in there first. I would also be remiss if I didn't extend real thank you to the Miami Beach Police Department. They are amazing. The whole team showed up in force today to help us out. Thank you. All of the police, chief, we've got Major Robinson here and Captain Suarez leading the charge, so thank you for keeping us all safe. Miami Beach Police does a great job. So we have a very informative evening tonight. There are many issues of great concern, and many city residents are looking forward to robust and civil discussion. With that said, it gives me great pleasure to welcome back to our JCC our moderator for tonight, Morgan Reiner from Channel 4 Miami. Morgan, if you don't know, is a Miami Beach native who joined CBS News as a team as a reporter in August of 2023. She started her on-air career as general assignment and political reporter in Fort Myers, Florida. She then went to California, where she was the political correspondent for TV stations in both San Diego and Sacramento. During her time there in California, she broke stories covering Governor Gavin Newsom's recall and gubernatorial elections. She did extensive coverage on legislation coming out of the Capitol and covered breaking news like snowstorms, atmospheric rivers, and much more. She was nominated for an Emmy for her in-depth story explaining two very complicated ballot measures that each sought to legalize sports betting in California, either online or in person. The campaigns outspent every other ballot measure in California history. Morgan is this is tough for me to say this week. Morgan is a proud graduate of the University of Florida. She is proudly wearing green tonight, representing the University of Miami this week. It says here Morgan is a Miami Heat and Dolphin fan as well. But before we even start anything, I want to call Robin Jacobs up, who has a quick little present for Morgan as a gift of appreciation.
Good news is I'm not speaking. We just want to welcome you back to the 305 and truly grateful for everything you've done in the short time you've been back for 2 years, and welcome back to 305.
Snowstorms. I'll say that every day. A heartfelt thank you to everyone who took the time to be here on this Monday evening. Miami Beach is where I was born and raised. It's the city that all of you call home, and what brings us together tonight, all of you in the audience, all of the candidates up here on stage, is our shared love for this incredible city. But loving something doesn't mean it's perfect. It means we are committed to doing everything in our power to make it even better. So before we dive into the rules, some perspective, if I may. As a reporter for CBS News, I'm often tasked with what feels like the impossible. Get reaction from witnesses, track down surveillance video, hear from people on both sides, push law enforcement for answers. And then once I've spent hours gathering all of that, reporters like myself have to put it all into a minute and 30 seconds. So that is how long most of the people have to answer each question tonight. So now on to the rules. Tonight, each candidate will have 1 minute introductions, and depending on the group of candidates, they will either have a minute and 30 seconds or 2 minutes to answer a question. Now, if a candidate is called out directly by name, they will have 30 seconds to respond. And I do want to point out that this evening, we have these cards. If you have questions that you want to ask of our candidates, please fill out these cards, because at the end of every single group, we're going to ask some audience questions. And those sometimes end up being the best. So please fill out these cards if you have anything you want to ask. So now on to the first group. Commissioner Group 1, I believe we are all sitting in alphabetical order. We were just told the first candidate, he's out sick tonight, but thank you to the other 6 for joining us. We have Brian Erlhich, Ava Frankel, Matthew Gultanoff, Omar Jimenez, Matteo and Monique Pardo. Okay? So we'll just go in order, starting with our 1-minute introductions. Brian, you're up first.
Hi, I'm Brian Erlhich, and it's thrilling to be here with you today. I've lived in Miami Beach for over 20 years, and this is really the city that embraced me as a young man. But I do think too often in this city, we tend to think a little short term, and we don't really think about the long run. That's the reason that I want to run. I want to help shape the future of this city. I'm not from the political world, but I have been serving my city for about 20 years. I've served on a number of boards here in the city, the Historic Preservation Board, the Board of the Bass Museum, Board of Adjustment, and others. But I bring life experience to this role. I helped launch a tech startup. I've led major real estate projects, and I have managed budgets in finance, philanthropy, and in real estate. I bring life experience to the role, but I also bring something else. I've got a ton of grit. I'm the only person on this stage who qualified to get on the ballot by signature. I did so by knocking on over 7,700 doors, and that tells you a little bit about what commissioner that I will be. In those conversations, there are 4 things that I have learned. Number 1, we must have a well-designed city. Number 2, we need infrastructure you can see and you can feel. Number 3, we need accountability at City Hall. And 4, we need growth that works for us, not the other way around. Thank you.
You have to look at me while you're responding. Otherwise, they're going to have to interrupt you.
Yeah, just a reminder, I did say this from the start. She will be standing up there. She's going to give you time cues. So you can sit. And she'll give you a 30-second heads up, and then she'll also hold up the sign that says your time is up as well. And if you're in the middle of finishing a thought, that's okay as well.
Right.
Hi everyone, my name is Ava Frankel. I was born and raised right here in Miami Beach. My mom, she's a hustler. She can stretch $1 further than City Hall can stretch a project deadline. My father was born in Hungary right after the Holocaust. His family then fled to Israel before moving to America when he was just 11 with no money, not speaking a lick of English, and somehow he survived raising me. I know I don't look like the typical politician, and that's exactly the point. Miami Beach needs people who aren't afraid to challenge the status quo. I'm the 11th descendant of the Baal Shem Tov, back in the time when only the highest scholars had a strong voice in Judaism. He brought spirituality back to the people. He put community first. And that's the spirit that I want to bring to Miami Beach, putting residents first. Community is everything. So I ask you, if you like what you hear from me tonight, to please tell 3 friends to vote for Ava Frankel for commissioner. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Matthew Gultanoff, and I'm running for Miami Beach City Commissioner. I'm a dad, I'm a husband, and I'm a nearly 15-year South Beach resident. My kids learned how to swim right here at the JCC, and they've enjoyed so many events, such as the Purim Carnival and taking gymnastics here. This is our community. It's where my family lives, grows, learns, and learns. Professionally, I started off as a software developer. I worked with billion-dollar not-for-profits and private companies managing hundreds of millions of dollars in assets. And here in Miami Beach, I've served the community. I've served as the former chair of the city's Transportation Advisory Committee. I served on the planning board and as vice chair of the county's Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. I'm running because too often the best solutions are sidelined by politics. We see it in traffic. Traffic counts are down, but traffic congestion is getting worse. Why? Because there's no master plan, only piecemeal pilot projects. I've worked with city, county, and state leaders to deliver real results. The first large-scale bike share benefit in the nation that provides free rides for residents. So thank you. This is the leadership that I will provide to the city if you elect me as commissioner.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Omar Jimenez, and I'm your community candidate in Group 1. I was born in Cuba to a Cuban father, Ukrainian mother. I grew up in Europe. I lived here for 20 years already. We have a 20-year-old business. We operate a restaurant in South Beach called Bella Cuba. We won the Hispanic Heritage Business of the Year Award in 2022. And just earlier this year, we were also recognized for our 20th year in business here in Miami Beach as a small business. We also, in 2019, I also founded the first Sustainable Neighborhood Association in the history of this city.
I'm sorry.
That was quick. I founded the first Sustainable Neighborhood Association in the history of this city. And over the last 5 years, I've already contributed towards bringing $8 million in fully funded projects to our community. Those are not promises, those are actual real projects that are currently in the pipeline or completed. So I ask for your vote this election season because I'm your truly grassroots community candidate in Miami Beach. Thank you.
Hi friends, hi neighbors. Is this on? Yeah, yes. Hi friends, hi neighbors. My name is Matteo Salinas. I've been living in Miami Beach for 16 years and I've been involved for about 15 and a half. I grew up in Michigan. I have a bachelor's degree from Michigan State University in public policy, and I've been involved for so long. I was involved in my kids' PTA. I brought my kids there here, first when they started at South Point Elementary, and then I was the PTSA president at Nautilus Middle School, and I did advocacy at Beach High. And someone asked me, they said, oh, how cute, Nautilus Middle School PTA president, did you coordinate bake sales? And I said, oh honey, if you only knew what the PTA moms do. I've also served on the board of Miami Beach United. I also took the Citizens Police Academy with the Miami Beach Police Department back in 2018. Thank you. Our police department does a great job. And I even went to bond court to testify against a repeat offender to keep them out of our neighborhoods. You might know me because I worked for 2 different commissioners. And in that role, I learned all about local government and how to get things done. And that's the type of commissioner I will be. I'm here to get results for you, to keep our neighborhoods clean, safe, dry, help our small businesses, bring back some good tourism that includes family-friendly activations, and make Miami Beach the best it's ever been. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monique Pardo, and like Matthew, both of my children actually learned how to swim right here in the JCC. My daughter received her first medal in gymnastics as her first ballet class all here in our backyard because we live right down the street. A little bit about myself. My personal journey began with my mother, who's sitting in the back row. She came from Cuba on Operation Pedro Pan in 1962. She instilled in me, as a single mother, resiliency, determination, and grit, and that our challenges in life shall never define who we are. I carried that into first University of Florida, go Gators, followed by a law degree from UCLA. I went to work in the financial services industry as an institutional equities trader at Cantor Fitzgerald, later at KKR. I then came back to my passion, where I now run my own law practice right here on 31st as a family law and guardian ad litem petitioner. I am president of the Women's Cancer Association of the University of Miami. I sat on the board of Nicholas Children's Hospital, where I helped raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for the hospital. And I also chaired and wrote legislation with the Florida Attorneys of the state of Florida, on behalf of legislation that we are passionate about. And that same passion, that advocacy that I will bring to the residents of Miami Beach to bring a safer, smarter, stronger community for you all. Thank you.
All right, now on to the questions. For these questions in this group, you will each have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer these questions. So we will start at the end this time with Pardo Pope. What do you believe is the biggest issue facing our city, and how do you think the city should go about fixing it?
Well, we have a few city issues that I'd love to address. Obviously, overdevelopment is a big concern because we must have smart growth. Growth must pay for growth. We cannot continue to build, overdevelop on an infrastructure that is 4 decades old. We must increase our impact fees. We must have good faith partnerships with the developers that want to come into our cities and contribute to our residents. That is what we need. We also need to focus on our homelessness issue. We need to ensure that we are eradicating the problem, not by compassionate care where we recycle the same homeless onto our streets. We must be tough love. We have ordinances that we can absolutely be enacting, that we need to modify, that we need to change. We need to have partnerships with Tallahassee, partnerships with the county to ensure we have the proper funding and mental health services being offered to the homeless that are certainly suffering from mental health issues, as we know. I still have 30 more seconds. Okay, I will continue. In addition to, obviously my platform is about safer, smarter, stronger. I want to make sure that you all feel safe walking to school, walking down the street. But our waterways must also be safe. We cannot continue to experience the same tragedies in our waterways and in our bay. We must address water enforcement, reckless boating. We have to tackle these problems in conjunction with the jurisdiction of the county and the state. We also need to target our water quality. Now it's time. Okay, I could have kept it. Thank you.
Well, you can get a lot in a minute 30. All right, there's a request from this side of the room. You don't have to, but if you do want to stand up, they said that they can't see you over here.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Next time.
And Matteo Salinas, we'll move on to you. The same question. What do you believe is the biggest issue facing our city, and how do you believe the city should go about fixing it?
So, interestingly enough, I'll stand. Interestingly enough, depending on what neighborhood I knock on, I get a lot of different answers. When I knock in Mid-Beach, number one, people say traffic. They say it's gridlocked, 41st Street. Sometimes people that go north to south can't get out of their homes. They can't get out of their driveways. So traffic, I hear number one in Mid-Beach. In South Beach, I also hear traffic, but I also hear crime. And I also hear noise. Mufflers that drive down 5th Street and they're revving their engines and there's noisy vehicles on Ocean Drive. And in North Beach, I hear a lot about dirty water, feces-infected water, infrastructure, flooding, and also a lot of overdevelopment in North Beach as well. So I know that's a lot of issues, but it affects all of us because we're all neighbors, we all live here, we all love it here, and we must do better. And as your commissioner, I will do better for you, for all of us, for our neighborhoods. Thank you.
So my platform has always been about two things: the environment and sustainability, and tourism and hospitality. And both of those issues are deeply intertwined in this city because tourism and hospitality is our bread and butter. So when I started here 20 years ago, I've been a small business owner. I'm a tourism and hospitality veteran in Miami Beach and South Beach. And then I moved to North Beach in 2016, and I founded my Sustainable Neighborhood Association. And it wasn't a mistake that I named it the Sustainable Association. I foreseen the issues that we were going to have with all of the development that we're currently seeing and all of the issues that we're seeing in our waterways. Miami Beach is all about tourism and hospitality, and that's where most of our taxes, resort taxes, come from, our city's revenue. So we need to have clean and pristine waterways. And that's what we're known for all over the world. If we don't have clean and pristine waterways, we might as well be Miami Shores. So when I think of Miami Beach and the future that I want for Miami Beach, I want to make sure that upgrading our broken shorelines and our stormwater system is a must because of all of these new units that are going to be coming online and that are currently coming online. We just can't afford to not pay attention to this. And if we don't, it's going to hurt our economy long term. It's going to hurt our revenue because nobody wants to get sick and nobody wants to swim in poopy water.
Yeah.
I think there are two major issues facing the city right now. The first is, of course, traffic, transportation, transit, and mobility. It's not just that people feel that they can't leave their homes in the afternoon. It's when they even go to choose a dentist or a doctor, the first question they think is, where is that doctor located? If it's on the mainland, it might be out of the question, even if it's the better choice for their own health. So I would propose short, medium, and long-term solutions to our traffic issues. Short term, we need to improve our trolley system. I did some research over the weekend, and traffic counts, as I mentioned earlier, are actually down, yet traffic congestion feels worse. Did you know that there were over 5 million rides, 5 million trips a year on Miami Beach's trolley system before COVID, before 2020? The headways were cut, and now you can wait up to 40 minutes to ride the trolley. So it's no surprise that ridership is down by over 1.5 million people. That means that's 1.5 million people that are taking Ubers, that are driving a car, that are getting around, not in a trolley, and contributing further to our traffic issues. Medium term, of course, we have to work on traffic signals. Everyone says that. I've actually worked with county transportation staff on improving traffic signals, not just people driving, but also people that are walking and biking. That's also important because that gets into the other part, which is mode shift. We need to encourage people to take other ways of getting around besides the car. And then lastly, long-term traffic solutions. Those are capital projects. We need to invest in those. That means connecting to the mainland with fixed rail or any sort of other rapid transit system. And then lastly...
Thank you, that's time.
Thank you. I'll work that out.
Hi everyone, I'm Ava. I think our biggest issue in Miami Beach is the infrastructure. That's the reason why I really became passionate to running for commission, and that's the biggest thing that I'm wanting to fix. I think we are a world-class city with third world infrastructure, mainly our flood drainage, our sewage, and our power lines. We already have the budget allocated to redo all of these things. I received a scholarship to study engineering, and I would love to help the city by making sure that when we do these projects, they're done right the first time. That way we don't have to do it again 5 years later. Another thing that I'm really passionate about are the business deals that Miami Beach makes. Frankly, I think we can be making better business deals with developers and with small businesses. So currently the developers, we're giving them height increases in exchange for a park that nobody really asked for. I think that we should instead have the developers be redoing the bathrooms in our public schools, adding to the community, really showing the love back to Miami Beach. Another thing that I recently found out is that on Lincoln Road, the retail is paying $32 per square foot of outdoor space. And nobody goes there. Why? Because residents don't feel safe and it's not fun. I also learned that all of those restaurants are not allowed to play live music. Only a playlist. 30 seconds to time so fast? Okay, well, anyways, I think we just need better rules and let's have better supervision on our project. Thank you.
This is what I see. I see a world-class city. I see a beautiful city, but I see a city that lacks a plan, that lacks a true master plan, and that lacks a unifying vision. I believe that we can, with the best designers and the best architects in the world, reimagine what our city actually looks like. I believe that it should have connectivity in it. I believe that you should be able to walk all the way from North Shore all the way down to South Point. You should be able to do so with ease, with shade trees, going from streets to sidewalks to plazas, with one of the most joyous experiences. That's what our city should feel like. And with that, you should not have to experience tons of traffic. And when we go to get projects approved in the city commission, we should, as Ava said, get a good deal. We should make sure that the developer impact fees are finally increased after 30 years. We should make sure that if you build here, you got to contribute here. And that any project that gets built here is going to actually strengthen the community that it is in. I live in a neighborhood where there's a developer that wants to build a project with another 50 stories, and another 50 feet, and another 30 feet of mechanical on top of that. That was incredibly frustrating to see that plan, and then to realize that the community was overlooked and wasn't engaged. And on top of that, the neighborhood association made a deal with a developer for $1.5 million. Those things are upsetting, but they're upsetting because the city lacks a plan. We lack a vision for what it is that we want in the different corridors in which we live to make this place more connected,
Thank you.
more enjoyable. Thank you.
And we will start with you this time and work our way back this way. The next question is about the beach walk. The beach walk is a popular area for both pedestrian and bicyclists, but we have seen instances where too many pedestrians or even cyclists have been injured on the beach walk. What do you believe needs to be done in order to alleviate some of that traffic there and to improve safety? But then I'm going to tie it into this question, the very first one that I got from the audience member, because it does tie in perfectly, about bike lanes. Do we have A, too many, B, too few, or C, just enough?
Oh, I love the options.
And whenever you're ready, in the next 30 seconds.
Look, the beach walk is incredible. It not only connects areas of the city, but it connects each of us. And so we need more opportunities like the beach walk. We need more promenades. 24th to 29th, we're going to have the Miami Beach Promenade, which we're going to have the ability, all of us collectively, to contribute to. That runs parallel to the beach walk from 24th to 29th. And we're going to be able to redesign what that looks like. And when we redesign what that looks like, we're going to decide these, think about these factors, right? Safety. Design, number one. Standards. We need to have extremely high standards when it comes to design. That means making sure that things are correctly, marked, that things make sense to people. And lastly, we need enforcement. We need enforcement of the rules that are actually on the books, right? So we need help from our friends at the police to make sure that people that are, incredibly reckless in their behavior are called out and that there are consequences. This is what happens in the private sector. We have consequences for our actions. So we got to take a little bit of those lessons and apply them to the public sector, in my opinion. And this is a great opportunity to do it on the beach walk because it is a life or death matter. And God forbid, we have not seen worse incidents. I think that it is incumbent upon us to act quickly. I think that we need to be a leader when it comes to these things because this is where we should lead. Thank you.
Okay. I love the beach walk. For those of you who have been in Miami Beach for a really long time, you know the beach walk has gotten so much better and more beautiful over the years. So I'm so grateful to have it. Typically I only go around sunset because there's not that much shade, so I can't really walk during the day. But to address the traffic issue on the beach walk, I think that people would probably use more walking paths in Miami Beach if they were shaded. So if the goal is to not have it be so crowded, maybe we should make some of our other streets a little bit more shady. Onto the bikes. I don't think that we have enough bike lanes in Miami Beach. Sometimes I'm driving up and down Alton, and there's a biker in the right lane, and it makes me nervous, even though, of course, I'm paying attention, I'm keeping my distance, but I'm like, what if they fall into one of the many potholes, and then they're on the floor, and then I'm hitting them, and then I'm going to jail, and I'm just stressed about it. So yes, we need bike lanes desperately. Those are my answers. Okay, thank you.
I love the beach walk as well. You can find me there at 6 o'clock in the morning, running with groups. You can find me in the afternoon riding my children like we used to ride up here to the JCC for swim lessons. In fact, I'm probably the only candidate that rode here tonight on a bicycle. Because I say what I do. And one of the ways that we can help address what I believe is the number one issue, which is traffic in this city, and I didn't get to finish my thought, but it's also an economic issue because businesses cannot recruit and retain employees, and I've heard this from many people as I've talked to them over the years. Florida, unfortunately, is one of the deadliest states for bicyclists and pedestrians. In Miami Beach alone, there were over 4,000 crashes last year, and 6 people were killed on our streets. So there is an issue with safety, whether you're on a bike, whether you're behind the wheel, or you're on foot. The beach walk, so you can't tell by now I love data, and I use data to help guide policies that I advocate for. The beach walk is the #1 shared use path in the whole entire state of Florida, and we have data to back that up. In order to make the beach walk more comfortable for everyone, no matter if you're walking or if you're biking, rollerblading, or any other type of way to get across, we need to build more bike lanes. The city adopted a master plan in 2015, and they have unfortunately delivered very little. It's a matter of life and death, but it's also a matter of help solving our traffic issue here so that more people will choose alternative ways, and that will mean that people who continue to drive will have less traffic and more parking spaces available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a little hard to go after Matthew. But yeah, I sold my car also in 2023. I had a Tesla, I sold it, and I've been riding the bike, my e-scooter, and taking the bus. So I also practice what I say in this city. And I've been really experiencing what life is like in Miami Beach without having a car. And it's very interesting at times. I come across bike lanes that constantly end and go nowhere, that are being taken over by new developments actually. You know, on 72nd Street, the street was taken over, part of the street where the bike lane was, and so now we're missing that bike lane. The beach walk is really, really important to all of us. That's something that we share and everyone in Miami Beach has in common because it runs from South Point to the end and further. And so we want to make sure that the beach is safe to use for everyone and that it accommodates everyone while functioning for everyone also. And there are a lot of people that use it as a bicycle speedway. We need to protect the residents, we need to protect the visitors that don't know that this is happening. But we also need to look for alternatives. I really like the idea of a compacted path on the sand, which I believe can be done, but it's going to take a little bit more time. And that's one of the issues that I struggle with in this city, because when we face a real issue, sometimes it takes 12 years, like it's taken on Lincoln Road, to get Drexel Avenue pedestrianized. So we really need to improve when we have issues that are here and now. We need to work on them here and now, not 12 years from now.
So I also use the beach walk, as I'm sure everyone in here does too. I walk the beach walk with my dog probably every night, and I love it, as I'm sure all of you love it as well. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, it should be kept safe. And we do have a lot of complaints from people who are walking with their dog or they have their children, and someone that thinks it's Tour de France is zooming past on their bicycle. And so there needs to be a balance. And the balance is simply, have enforcement to make sure folks aren't speeding down the bike path and risking injury to pedestrians that are walking down the beach path. And also, others have mentioned that there is a proposal, I think Mayor Minor, it was your legislation that you proposed, the sand, the hardened packed sand, so that way we will get a safer path for pedestrians that want to walk, and it will free up some of the beach walk for folks that want to ride their bicycles. To shift into the answer about the bike lanes, I think there is a sufficient amount of bike lanes now, and I say that because I know there's more coming. I know that Collins Avenue, FDOT is going to redesign Collins Avenue, that's in the works, and there's going to be new bike lanes on Collins Avenue. And I believe FDOT also proposed putting a bike lane north of 63rd Street on Collins Avenue as well. So I know that there's more bike lanes coming. And additionally, everything has unintended consequences. So when we think about these topics and we think about bike lanes, more bike lanes, that means loss of parking. People love to be able to park. Businesses love it when their customers can park and go into their business. Restaurants need parking so people can eat at their restaurants. So we have to think about unintended consequences too. Thank you.
So just like Matt, I too love data. We talk a lot about enforcement. We have 400 police officers to manage an entire municipality of 80,000 residents. What does that mean? We can enforce all day long, but if we do not have the support staff to do so, it's going to be very difficult to catch every illegal bicycle, every bicycle gang that's coming up and down our streets and up and down our boardwalks. More importantly, let's address the fact that nobody has mentioned that e-bikes are incredibly dangerous. They have no place on the beach walk, and I think we should absolutely be enforcing an ordinance to protect our senior citizens, our families, and our children against them on the beach walk. I love being on the beach walk. I love riding bikes on the beach walk. I don't want to be rolled over by speeding e-bikes coming down. There's a place for everything in this city. Do I believe that we need more bike lanes? No, I believe we need smart loading zones so that we can take care of the fact that we have parking issues. We need to get in and out of spaces as quickly as possible. Adding more bike lanes is not, unfortunately, the answer, though I do love bikes and I do ride them with my children, all up and down Pine Tree and to JCC on the weekends with my husband who's in the back. I think we need to enforce the beach walk, but we need to support our police staff to do so. We cannot expect superhuman results out of them if we do not give them that support. Thank you.
Now on to an audience question. And for this, I know it's not long, but we have a lot of people to get through. 30 seconds. What steps are you taking to mitigate the adverse effects of climate change? And we will start on this end.
Oh, we're doing this.
Yep.
Look, we need to, number one, we need to have good infrastructure because good infrastructure is going to help with resiliency issues. So we need streets and sidewalks that are built to last. Just yesterday, I was knocking on the door on 62nd and Alton, and somebody was telling me that about a year ago they were in 7 feet of water in their car and they couldn't move. So this is about priorities. We have to make investments in this infrastructure so that we have resiliency. We need to work on our dune reforestation. We need
It's not easy. I know it's not easy. 30 seconds. Okay.
Does fecal matter in our water count as climate change? Because I feel like water that was once clean is now dirty, and that to me is climate change. So that's the infrastructure. And then also, I always advocate for this. I think we need more trees and greenery. Our parks are so sunny, I can't even go. We need more trees, more shade. I think that Scott Rako should have ivy on it. I mean, I know that's just beauty, but come on, let's make our city nicer.
I agree, we definitely need more shade to make our streets more livable, more easy to walk on. Our trolley system, our bus system, improving that, certainly making it more comfortable to bike so that more people will choose to do that. That will help with the climate situation. I've also worked with the county and other partners to bring shore power to Port Miami, the world's largest cruise terminal, and you'll see it on Saturday mornings. The 2 largest ships in the world have their giant diesel engines turned off, and they are running on clean energy from the grid.
Thank you.
So again, that's my platform. What I've been working on the last 5 years is climate change, being a more resilient city, doing green infrastructure, making sure we don't have sunny day floods, upgrading our sewer and stormwater systems so we're not swimming in our own bacteria and poop. And we need over $100 million to do that just in one part of our city alone. So we really need to be creative and think of how we're going to fix these issues, because they're not going to go away by themselves. And we're not going to get these benefits from developers if we don't ask and insist on better deals and better negotiations.
So, excuse me. So we used to host, in the city of Miami Beach, we used to host something called the Aspen Ideas Conference. And the Aspen Conference happened several years in a row at the Convention Center. And it was a world-renowned conference that brought in engineers, marine biologists, environmentalists, all over the world. And they were the top in their field. And they would attend this Aspen Institute at the Convention Center. It was a 4 or 5 day conference. And it was everybody who was everybody, the who's of environmentalism. And I think we need to bring that Aspen conference back. And not only that, when we host the next Aspen conference, let's say focus on Miami Beach. Focus on our dunes, focus on Sargassum. Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to touch on a point that Omar made. He says we need to come up with creative solutions, and it costs over $100 million to deal with this infrastructure problem. I have a creative solution. There is a 1% federal loan that the state of Florida can apply through. We can actually access state grants to pay for the infrastructure changes and additions that need to be made to our city. That is being smart. That is being fiscally responsible. We should not be having our taxpayers funding the bill to pay for the infrastructure that we so desperately need. This 1% bill is out there. This 1% loan is out there, and I will help you get it.
Can I respond? Because she mentioned my name. She mentioned my name.
You mentioned your name?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you. So I get to respond then. Thank you. I think it's great what she said at the very end. Loan. We don't need any more loans. That's one of the biggest problems that we have. That we're addicted to bonding. We need $100 million to bond our sewer and stormwater. We need this loan and that loan. Which what happens? We end up paying more taxes, more sewer and stormwater fees on our utility bills, and we really don't have that much more wiggle room as residents and as property owners in the city because our taxes are sky high. I'm going to be paying $12,000 this year.
Okay, the last question from the audience, and this is a good one because the benefit of hosting this same debate 2 years ago is that I know this exact question was asked and that nothing was done about it. What is the plan for the North Beach Kayak launch? This person wrote that they asked this question 2 years ago and that it's still not open. Okay, and we'll start with the other end. Pardo.
Well, with regards to the launch, so we all know what the issue is. There's fecal matter in the water. It needs to be addressed. There's no getting around it. We need to have notices up in North Beach. We need to make sure our residents know what is happening. I love the grassroots effort that Larry Schaefer and Cheryl Weiss are doing right now with their poop campaign because it's important. We must start with notice. That is where we begin. We go to our county, we go to Tallahassee, and we demand what we need from them. We have the money, we just, thank you.
So there's a couple different things here because there is a kayak launch and the water's dirty. And also I've heard people that want a different location for a kayak launch, so there was also plans to move it and to open another one. I would be open to having several kayak launches in North Beach, all throughout Miami Beach. In fact, we should have waterways that connect us if we want to, take a kayak and go through, our canals. I mean, we have a beautiful city with a lot of waterways, provided the water is clean, which is what we should tackle first, is cleaning up our waterways. Thank you.
So I actually live on ParkView Island. The kayak launch is right outside my house. I founded this association because of that issue. And over the last 5 years, I've been fighting tirelessly to bring the $8 million in funding to our city. The problem is that our city administration wants to go in a different direction every time there is a change. And that's not acceptable because just last week we were told that the dredging that we've been promised for 4 years is no longer fiscally responsible, even though we have the money already funded for this project to be done. And it's supposed to begin next year. So it's crazy,
So I'll ask the experts, and that will help guide what solutions I would support as a policymaker. One of the issues that we have 7, sometimes micromanagers who are leading the city instead of the professional staff that know how to run a $1 billion organization. Lastly, I'll be honest with residents and with taxpayers and ratepayers. If you want to replace the pipes and improve the infrastructure, you're going to have to pay for it. It's as simple as that.
Thank you.
I think it's quite obvious now at this point that it's an infrastructure problem. Our sewage pipes are clearly bursting at the seams everywhere, and it's causing damages for humans that want to go kayaking. I mean, we could open it and just tell them, careful, Could. And maybe they just passed a text message system that will text people when the water is dirty so they can pay attention to the text. But really the first thing is we need to clean up our infrastructure. Thank you.
I look at the issue more from an accountability point of view. I think that as a city, we have to do a way better job of having expectations of what we're going to get, what we want to get done, what the objective is, setting who is going to work on that objective, who is responsible for oversight of that objective, and if that objective is not met, then there are consequences for that. So the question was, in my mind, was that this was already promised and it did not happen. And so I think that we need to bring a culture of accountability here, and that's through scorecards and metrics.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for everyone. Commission performance. That is it for group one.
Thank you.
Group two, come up to the stage. Commission group two.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ava.
Thank you. Good luck.
You did a really good job. I didn't either. That was lucky. That was like
That was a good one. I liked that one. I like that they like put people in their time. I told her that beforehand. I was like, people get